up, YouTube? I'm Lance.
I'm Brett.
This is Rants R Us, a channel by fans for fans.
Today we're going to be talking about whether Jax or Clay was the better leader of SAMCRO. What do you think?
I'm up in the air with this one.
Up in the air with that one?
They both had their positive things and their negative things. They both wanted to put the club first, but they also both used that power for their own personal gain. Or their own personal reasons.
Well, yeah, they're a biker club.
Yeah, but you're supposed to keep that crap club business. Not,
yeah, I know.
Not, oh, my wife is doing a dinner. Y'all all have to come.
Well, see, this is something that you and I have both actually talked about privately.
In the past.
Yeah, it seemed like Clay was a little bit better off than some of the rest of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, this being nice.
I'm not in a biker gang, so I don't know how all that works. But I don't know if the president just gets a bigger cut, or if he was just like screwing the club over.
I kind of feel like it was a little mad.
If he was doing that, wouldn't the treasurer catch on to that? Like Bobby was the treasurer.
Well, I'm thinking about it in this way: the IRA was wanting him to be kind of their main go-to person. So he could have been selling some guns on the side that was not necessarily SAMCRO related, because they wanted him specifically.
And I didn't understand,
and I thought that was weird.
No, I didn't understand. Like Jax was like, okay, our warehouse got torched. We need a way to earn. Let's do this porn thing. It's a legitimate business. We can earn straight and be okay. And Clay was totally against that crap. And I'm like, why? You were making money. You're making money.
I never understood that either, because I was like,
so I'm like,
money is money. What does it matter, legal or illegal?
I'm like, Jax on that one, the only way Clay was trying to shut it down was because it was Jax's thing. Yeah. Jax brought it to the club.
I think so too.
And that was when they were the most.
Yeah, but if you kind of look at it, that was more of a family thing. Clay being married to Gemma.
Well, it wasn't because
he kind of wanted to show his dominance over his stepson.
It wasn't though, because the beef originally started because you went after a club member, a patch member to kill him. Your trigger boy blew his wife's head off. Yeah, that's why I'm challenging you. That's why I'm coming up.
I kind of never understood why that wasn't a bigger deal.
Okay, I don't understand. When Opie found out towards the end of season 2, he beats the crap out of Tig, and then he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay with the club.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I don't see how somebody could be like, hey, I just shot your wife in the head, but hey, are we cool?
I don't get that either. And I felt even with when you thought Opie was a rat, I don't feel like they did enough investigating to prove it before they were just like killing.
Yeah, they didn't. Like, they just assumed.
You would think if this person was your brother for all these years, you looked at him as your brother all these years, you would make sure before you killed him.
Well, and that's why it's supposed to have been brought up to the club. Because if it would have been brought up to the club, then, the other club members could have been
And then Clay says that Jax is never going to want to hurt Opie.
No.
No matter what.
And he was probably actually right about that.
So they didn't hide. Well, yeah, that was his best friend since.
Yeah, but look at it this way.
Best friend / love of his life. I don't know.
I don't think that Clay had that same feeling towards other members of the club as what Jax did. Remember when Bobby died? Like Jax was tore up about that. When Opie died, he was tore up about that.
The
only two that he really, the only two he didn't care about was Juice and Tig. Period.
And I think towards the end there, he did start to care about Tig.
I don't.
And I think that
I think he would have had him killed.
In the beginning, he cared about Juice.
Yeah. I think he did.
He felt like Juice betrayed him, where really, I think that was.
I kind of felt like with that, that was I know it's a little stupid, because Juice is just trying to protect your mother. And,
That's not what he's talking about when he betrayed you.
What was it? I can't even remember.
Jax killed that girl or whatever that time, and he told Needham that she came at him with a weapon,
Yeah.
And Juice told the truth, and he was like,
yeah, but he
"Juice
also was
betrayed
mad
me."
about the other thing too. About when
Yeah.
Gemma killed Tara. And,
Yeah. But that ain't
kinda
why
made
he
it
did
that-
all that
no.
crap to Juice, because
But I kind of felt like
he had already put all this. The reason Juice did that for Gemma was he was already on Jax's bad side.
Yeah.
He was already on that shit list.
But see, and I also kind of felt like when it come to even Tig, I felt like he treated Tig a little bit kind of disrespectful.
But I think
Tig
a lot
did
of that.
come from problems.
I think a
He
lot
paid
of
for
that with Tig was you were Clay's right hand.
I think it
You're
was
not going to
too.
be mine.
I think it was too. That's why I say, even though Clay was would be what most people would consider to be the main antagonist of the series, I think probably Jax was probably the more vengeful, hateful of the two. Like I don't think Clay held grudges quite like Jax did. I don't really think. I mean, he killed Piney, yeah, but it wasn't because of a grudge.
No, he killed Piney trying to protect the secret.
I mean,
he killed Piney because Piney had the letters that proved that he was involved with John Taylor's death.
And so, and when he tried to kill Tara, it was for a specific reason. It wasn't a grudge actually against Tara.
The whole thing with Tara was Clay wasn't killing her just because or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was she was turning rat.
Yeah, and he was
trying to protect his club.
Yeah,
and that's what you're supposed to do as the president. I feel like in that regards, you might want me over here because in that regards, Clay was always trying to protect the club.
Yeah.
Well, Jax was
trying to protect
Tara.
Those that he cared about the most, Opie, Tara, even Gemma to a certain extent.
And then eventually the junkie ex-wife.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always personal with Jax. Like anytime you seen him get really just brutal, it's because personal reasons. Like dude called Tara a whore, so he blew his brains out.
Yeah. So that's the reason why, or even take that even the way he did with what was that guy's name? The club, SAMCRO club leader that he killed. Or not SAMCRO, but Sons of Anarchy club leader.
Jury,
yeah.
So
when
Jury,
he killed Jury.
after they patched him over.
Yeah.
He became SOS.
So I mean, he held he got mad, he did something stupid like that. Clay never did those things.
Clay had a cooler head.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which made him a better leader.
Sometimes he had a cooler head. Because there's a lot of times where Clay's just wanting to go and get bloody and Jax is like, we need to be smart about this.
Yeah, but then Jax always says, let's get smart about this, and then does something stupid.
Not always.
Most of the time.
He didn't get like that until after him and Tara got married.
Yeah, well, I'll agree in the earlier seasons he probably wasn't that way.
Honestly, I think that Jax didn't get that way. It wasn't even maybe him getting married to Tara. He was smart. And he did things the smart way and got away with a lot of crap. All the way up until Opie got killed. Once Opie got killed, Jax was on a downward spiral.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That was when that show, to me, then that was one of our favorite shows. That went down.
I think that Clay, to me, I would almost say Clay's the better president just because the power went to his head. Yes, but he still managed. When that power went to Jax's head,
he went kind of a little bit.
He went way off the deep end. The show went downhill. With that, I mean, of course, that's not really his fault. That's the writing, but I'm just saying.
It is when they turn
him to go down that downward spiral, the show really went to crap, and he became a bad person. He was. See, I thought Jax was a great character when he was the VP. As soon as he got prez, power overtook him too much, just like it did with JT.
Yeah, his father. I mean, and you're right about that. JT, I don't know. They were men that really didn't fit into that situation, and it wasn't because they weren't brutal men. It was because they were men that kind of thought they were smarter than what they actually were.
The whole thing is like JT had come back from Nam, and he made this Sons of Anarchy biker gang, and then the club somehow got shifted into what he didn't want it to be. It messed with his head so much, he ends up killing himself.
I see the way I always
Clay wanted the club to be what it is.
Yeah. And to be honest with you,
and when
most
JT didn't want that no more.
Yeah, but most of SAMCRO or even all those other Sons of Anarchy.
See, now I never understood, and maybe
I
never understood this, and maybe you can answer this for me. Is they talked, and maybe I just missed it, but they talked all the time about JT this, and this ain't what JT wanted, and then the whole letters thing was like there's supposed to be proof in these letters that Gemma and Clay had him killed, but then they say no, they didn't have him killed, he killed himself. So why was Clay so worried about these flipping letters the whole time?
I've always wondered that, and even going back and watching some of the older episodes, I'm like, why didn't you go to the trouble of killing Piney and doing all this other stuff? There was nothing that implicated him.
You didn't want any of this to come to light to begin with, then why'd you even, when Abel got kidnapped and they ended up in Belfast, why'd you even help Jax go there?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I kind of feel that way too. I feel like
Clay was trying to be good that season. It was like, that's my grandson. Even if this stuff comes out, we'll deal with it then. I'm gonna go get my grandson.
I think there was a part of Clay that I think Clay cared for Jax, but Jax didn't care for Clay. I think that's really what it kind of comes down to.
I don't know. I think at times he did.
I actually believe that Clay was sincere in those moments about his grandchild.
I think there was times where Jax cared about Clay, but every time he would get to where he was letting his guard down with Clay, something else would come out that Clay did that hurt him or his family or someone he cared about.
I think the Tara thing
was
hard
to a hard pill to swallow. You got my wife, or you tried to get my wife killed. She got kidnapped, or hand smashed, or whatever that was. But, and not to mention the fact that he's like, oh, if you ever mention Donna again, I'll kill you.
But see, but you know what? I felt like that was like the albatross that he was always trying to put over Clay's head. But he wasn't really taking into consideration the dumb mistakes that he had made along the way either when it comes to Jax.
Now, one thing about Jax that always drove me crazy is it's very towards the end of the first season. When Donna dies, maybe it's the beginning of the second season, when Donna died or whatever, right after Donna died, he goes to Tiggs fixing to kill that witness. And he goes in there, he's like, sons don't kill women. And then I witnessed Jax kill like episodes. 3 women.
Yeah, I know.
Later, I'm like, what happened?
I mean, Jax would see. That's what I didn't like about Jax. Jax was kind of a little bit of a hypocrite. I felt like he would say one thing. He would talk about, well, we need to think about, before we go and get bloody on things. But then, who was the one that would always get the most bloody? Jax. Jax didn't mind shooting people in the head.
Towards the end.
But then he was like,
but then I think he had those reservations because he was a new father and he wanted a better life for his kids. But then he changed when
he wanted a better life for his kids, then why didn't he go and let Wendy be the one that takes over? Like, how did Wendy, his drug-addicted girlfriend, get to be the model citizen that he wanted? I get they tried to make her where she changed on all that, but at the same time, it was just like a season before that Jax actually tried to cause her to overdose.
2.
Huh?
2. Season 5.
Oh, was it season 5?
So
I mean, like, how did you go from that to, go from that extreme of trying to do that to being like, oh yeah, I want you to take care of my kids?
Tell you how.
I mean,
because Kurt Sutter is a horrible writer.
Kurt Sutter,
start strong.
Yeah, I feel like Kurt Sutter I think Kurt Sutter is a good starter, terrible finisher. I think you can, a good example of that is, another one is Bastard Executioner. Bastard Executioner I thought started off pretty good. And then throughout the season it just got progressively just boring.
Yeah,
I mean, that was my show for the year that it was on. But
that was yours.
Yeah.
It was never mine. See, and then I had the issue almost the exact opposite with him on Mayans M.C.
Yeah.
Because I hated the first season. I hated the first season. The second season I started getting into it. Now that's one of my shows. Like, I can't wait for season 3.
See, I'm still.
But one of the reasons I can't wait for season 3 is because Kurt Sutter ain't gonna be a part of it.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Because Kurt Sutter's too abrasive.
He's an asshole.
Basically.
He's gonna tell you he's not, and then tell you
write a letter to you. Be like,
I'll say,
I'm not an abrasive blanky blank.
yeah, but no.
But I feel like without, in my opinion, even at the very end, right before Clay was fixing to be killed, Clay was still giving Jax advice. You remember, he was telling him, well, if this happens, do this, this, and this. And Jax is like, well, that's what we'll do. When it come to even his own death, he was telling Jax what he thought would have been the right thing to do in that situation.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like that's.
But it's to protect the club. It was always to protect the club with Clay. With Jax, it's to protect the loved ones more than.
I think Jax cared more about the Teller legacy than he did the Sons of Anarchy legacy.
Now that is where I would agree with you 110%.
I
because
think that.
I think he cared about. He didn't care about Sons of SAMCRO with Clay as much as he cared about SAMCRO with JT. I felt like that was the SAMCRO. He was always trying to get back to.
They can set it up however they tried to spin it, but I still felt like even when Jax went and did what he did and killed himself and all that, he was still trying to leave behind a club for his boys. Like, he wasn't trying to get his boys out of the life.
No, I don't.
He was trying to build a club he wanted them to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not what the club was. He wanted a different club for his boys, not a different life.
And yes, and that's actually the way I looked at it too. Like, I kind of felt like maybe he's not, because he had so many chances with Tara. Tara was just like, hey, let's just leave. He's like, no, we can't exactly do that.
I have an issue with that because
I don't like Tara.
I don't like Tara either. What I'm saying I have an issue with is I don't care what your old lady says. It's not that easy to just walk away from a motorcycle game. You're not just going to be like, hey, dude, I'm out. I'm done. And they're going to let you. That doesn't happen. That's why he told Clay in what season was that? 5? He said, okay, I'm going to do this deal with the cartel with you, but after this, I'm done. And Clay was like, you do this deal with me, I'll let you walk.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Yeah.
You can't just walk just because your old lady tells you.
No. I would agree with you on that one.
So he really didn't have all those chances that they tried to make it look like he had just because Tara said so.
But I feel like Clay, just even in that regard, was willing to let him walk to that certain extent. That was another good thing of the leader.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Another thing was, I felt like, now this is something that makes Clay maybe not such a good leader, is when he wanted to go nomad, Clay was going to let him, and that wasn't for the good of the club. That was because Clay was pissed at Jax. So I still think Jax was a better leader.
I say without a doubt it was Clay.
Nah.
But what do y'all think?
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, we'll agree.
But let us know what you think.
And like always, if you like our content, please subscribe, comment. We always love to hear what our fans had to say.
If there's anything y'all want to hear us do about, let us know. And
this is a fan request, and we're willing to do more fan requests in the future. Like I said, this is a site by fans for fans. So we're here for y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Y'all take care.